What are you talking about?
Are you not putting yourself on the camera?
No.
Why is that?
I'll hide here.
I mean, you put all your makeup on and everything.
We'll have to do some work.
Is it wide angled?
You might see me, haven't
So this is going to be a dual recording.
Yeah.
I'm just going to introduce my video first, and
Okay.
then I can clip it out. So welcome to the centre of Wakefield. I'm joined by the Wakefield Rugby League Tourism Board, which is Richard Shaw right here. He's going to help me out and understand what's going on at Wakefield these days.
Hola.
Hola. That's how
We're cosmopolitan.
we're cosmopolitan. Do you need to introduce yours?
No, because I'll just edit. Well, I might just put it out like this anyway. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I've got. Can I go first?
Of
and
course.
Then we'll take turns.
Yeah.
We'll play
you
ping
do
pong.
all your stuff and then I'll do mine.
Well, we'll play ping pong because we'll use it all.
Yeah.
My first question, and I've probably got lots. Well, I have got lots. Is probably why is Jordan Crowther come to Warrington?
That's a good question.
So do you want to come back to that one because it's such a good question?
Well, my understanding is that he may have signed elsewhere for 2024, and that might be part of the reason why he's not at Wakefield now.
Right.
But because I don't know that's as much as that. But why he's at Warrington, I don't know.
Oh, because we've heard a lot about why are Warrington signing other players when they've got a squad and they should be bringing their academy players through. And Wakefield, who need probably every player they can get if he's good enough, why are they letting him go? So there's two questions there that need answering.
Yes, let's have the answers.
You're representing Wakefield, so that's why I want an answer.
Well, we signed a lot of people from France now, so,
right.
so a couple on trial. There was that fellow who got sent off in his first game for being tackled by Richie Myler. Did you
No.
You haven't seen this because obviously you're Warrington fan, you're not bothered. So he loses the ball, Richie Myler gets it in the tackle.
Yeah.
But somehow in the process of losing the ball, he manages to spear Richie Myler into the ground.
Oh, right.
Which obviously some people would say, give him
Well, I was going to say we should put that on YouTube. That will get lots of views.
give him a bonus. But no, he got a 6-game ban on trial. But they've still kept him on trial because they obviously quite like him. Signed a couple of players on loan from the Catalans this week, or at least one.
Is Wakefield twinned with somewhere in France? Is that
Probably, but I don't know where. I think we're twinned with loads of places in Germany, but not Russia anymore.
Okay.
That's
Distance.
That's been binned off now. But even though we share the same colours. So it is odd how they've let a player go just let a player go when they've had a small squad, but they have been bringing players in. David Fafita's come back. Luke Gale, when he's not got a hair injury, he's been looking good.
Is he back? Is he going to be back today? He's named in the squad.
He was warm. He was in the training, was he? I saw him in the training photo, so he might be. And he was good the other week against. Who was it? I watched. Not was it Salford? Might have been Salford. He was him and Will Dagger were really played really well together. So if they're back together, that bodes well for Wakefield. Obviously, by the time people see this, they'll know if I'm talking rubbish or not.
Yeah.
The odd thing is...
Are you confident, Richard? You've just answered it with that face.
Never confident. Well, why have Warrington signed Jordy Crowther?
No idea. We've got... why have a squad of players? I've thought, Tacklebags' idea, that what we should do next year is just have 17 players and then we just have a sort of flexible game-by-game contract, and whoever you want, you just say, we'll pay you for them because we've got loads of money, we'll have him, and just draft him in, and that way you don't have to worry about paying a squad of players. Maybe that's the way it's going.
So just whoever's left over from Australia that week?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, if they do the due diligence like with Josh Maguire, then they probably will never play for us. So.
I mean, at least Greg English was cropped. He wasn't a bad lad. He was just injured. You've got to sell all that Greg English memorabilia. Is there some of that still in the club shop?
Probably. I mean, just so everybody knows, they did actually house him in a bungalow, and Greg Inglis is about 6'5", and apparently he was banging his head on all the lights as he's walking out, so he didn't help.
Is that a positive though for when you're wanting to play? Last season it wasn't last season.
Probably.
What else? Why? What's Tacklebags? Why is it? What are we doing here?
Tacklebags. Tacklebags is a concept. It's an extension of the podcast, or I thought it was, and I thought I could make loads of money on it. I'm actually £6,000 in debt. But essentially, the whole idea is that what can we do to make rugby league better? It sounds like a Trump sort of thing, but I was keen to say in this day and age, with the digital side of it and doing the YouTube, I've got a different channel that I was doing, and I was thinking, well, surely rugby league needs to sort of take advantage of this, and I thought I would kick it off, being the first person to sort of maybe go around and do a proper log, not just of rugby league, but also of the towns of where rugby league resides, and show some of the different aspects of a town, and encourage people to go not just for the rugby, but go and have a look at the town, or vice versa, and make a whole big thing of it. And it's been marginally successful. He says in Wakefield.
I was going to say, you get to spend your weekends in such salubrious places as Wakefield and Castleford.
Well, the good thing about it is that it forces you to meet people like yourself and other people that you maybe have never met, and get to see other people. And I think in this society today is that there's a lot of like division, and people sat behind the things and firing things off at each other, but actually sat in front of somebody talking to someone is far better than just sat in your arse at home trying to watch Sky Sports and listen to Barry McDermott and Terry.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with Barry McDermott. He watches our program. He listens to our podcast. He's been on it.
Oh, is he?
Say Terry O'Connor. He didn't come on.
I'll rephrase that. Terry O'Connor.
Yeah, he didn't come on the podcast. So
he didn't come on.
He's on notice. I'm looking at that camera. Looking at that camera.
No, and I think it's just really about getting out and about. That's what Tacklebags is all about.
What was your next
Wakefield, 2 questions about the stadia. One, is the grass now grass and not plastic?
Well, it appears to be.
Is it?
Well, it appears to be more. It's one of those hybrid things.
What happened earlier in the season? There was loads of people complaining about it, and now there's not.
I think the story goes, it wasn't given enough time to bed in, not helped by the club playing friendlies at home on the pitch when it wasn't ready.
Right.
So that's probably why.
Okay. Because that technology is grass and plastic, isn't it?
But now you've got fine now, no one moans. So.
No. Oh, that's good. And secondly, the stand. Is the stand finished?
Not yet, but it's getting there.
Right.
I mean, you'll see it when you go in. It looks impressive. Although when I spoke to someone earlier this year, they said that's only because you remember what it used to look like. So it's not quite as big as the Halliwell Jones or the the Henley, but it'd be perfectly fine for Wakefield.
Part of my journey to Wakefield, I was at Sandal Castle.
Yes.
And actually on the top of there, I'm pretty sure I could see the stand. I took a picture of it with my long lens, which I'm not allowed to do during the matches anymore, because if there's any dancing girls around, I get told off, and rightly so, I suppose. I think we do need to change that aspect of the game.
To make sure all dancing girls are over 18.
No, I think we have to leave the dancing girls behind us. Because at the end of the day, it's our demographic watching it, and it's not. It's probably not the best. But anyway, I saw the stand from Sandal Castle, and it looked quite mightily impressive. So quite looking forward to seeing how that goes.
It is the most impressive thing that's happened to Bellevue since the flats went up in 2000. which the brilliant thing about them is of course, the early 2000s, not a great time financially for Wakefield Trinity Wildcats as well. So much so that in 2001, just after we stayed up on the last day of the season, relegating Huddersfield, who of course have gone up to nothing since then. The then coach of the club, John Harbin, hosted a public meeting asking for finance for the club, in which I helpfully threw in £25 of my student loan to buy some shares, which obviously were worth nothing then, and they're worth even less now because the company's been dissolved. But as it turns out, the club never paid for those flats because the company who put them up realised it would cost more to take them down than to leave them there. So they're free flats. So I mean, we have paid for this stand. That's a completely different regime.
Oh, okay. It is paid for.
It's legit.
Excellent. Okay, that was
but
good
when
news.
there was at one point in the past where the scoreboard went missing overnight, and that may have been
right.
That was a good 10, 15 years.
Okay, fair enough. You got a question?
Allegedly. Warrington, what's happening? Why is it not their year yet? I mean, we went to the 2000. Stealing all the fun day. which was the season of the pandemic, 2020, wasn't it?
Yes.
We're at the season launch at Headingley, and Mark Wilson, who used to be on this podcast and is now majorly successful on the telly, first thing he said to Steve Price was, "Is it going to be your year?" And his face was like thunder.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I've never used that expression, "it's our year." I'm distancing myself now from that. I think they got lucky at the first half of the season. I said it on the podcast at the time, is that we were playing teams that weren't necessarily in form, and they had some teams had a few injuries, and we got a bit of confidence. And as you know, it's all about confidence and things like that. And then all of a sudden, it drops off a cliff as we started to have our issues. McKaylee went. That sort of, I don't know whether we missed him individually as like doing so much, but part of the team working with Vaughan, that was certainly, it was just like pushing a brick wall against everybody, and it was demolishing everybody, and it worked really well. That was disrupted. We haven't really got a prop that's come through and done that since. Then Josh Maguire went, and appreciate them, but I'm a big fan of your squad players being able to step up. And if you're a coach, I'm not going to coach just 17, 20 guys who are going to be in the first team every week. You should be coaching the whole lot, because at some point in a season you're going to have to use them. And the excuse of they're a bit new to the team, or they're not really, they don't really fit in, I don't buy into that. And I think, you look at the likes of St Helens, they seem to manage. Wigan, they seem to manage. Bringing the youngsters in, and they just look like they've been seasoned there for years, and they're really good. So I think what I'm talking about is probably, it is down to some of the coaching. I don't think you can get away from that. I like Daryl Powell. He's a nice bloke, and he does seem like he's done a good job, at Castleford at times, but it's not working. He's came in and changed the culture, and he had a horrendous year last year, and he did change some stuff, and he got rid of people. And then this year, it all started rosy, but all of a sudden, we seem to be back to where we were a year ago.
Are you confident he can turn things? Because you don't want to be going now and getting rid of Daryl Powell and then bringing in another coach who's then got to change the culture again and change the squad and do everything he's so vicious.
Well, I think based on bringing in Powell and his aspirations, he's got a 3-year contract. By year 2, you would want to be sort of being competitive in the playoffs. And I think if you're going to go out round 1 of the playoffs, we're back to what Steve Price ended up with. And I'd say, possibly then I've not seen enough for the 3rd year. However, getting down to money, clubs in Rugby League can't afford to be paying people off, maybe. But if Rick Astley plays in Wakefield or somewhere and we get a big wedge coming off through Simon Moran, and then he might pay off a coach, who knows? Yes.
I mean, I'm on the radio occasionally, so I'll put some Rick Astley songs on, get some more PRS.
If you would, yeah. I think Kylie Minogue as well is another one. So
well,
you put Kylie.
Yeah. I mean,
she's on there.
We've only got Jane McDonald, so we've not. She doesn't get played on the radio much. Okay. Jane McDonald and Chanel from Big Brother.
Right.
She's not got any songs on.
I don't know. I'm not really Big Brother fan.
But that's as big as Wakefield celebrity gets at the minute.
Right.
Apart from Rugby League players.
What is the best thing about Wakefield, by the way? Just
my immediate answer was going to be the M1, which is a really bad answer.
No, it is, because I didn't want to bias it, and I was going to text you and say, where's there to go in Wakefield? But I was afraid of your response.
Where is good? I've never been to the Hepworth, but it looks good, and everyone moans about it on Facebook groups because it's art.
Oh,
so why
there's loads of art.
Why we spend money on art and not on a roller rink? Because people want to. There used to be a cinema down the bottom of Kirby. You probably see it on the way down to the ground. And people said, "Why don't we turn it into a roller rink or a bowling alley?" We had a bowling alley. It was next to Bellevue. We knocked it down. So it's that kind of.
Wigan's got a roller rink.
I saw you not go there.
Yes, I really want you to go, and it doesn't open until every day until the summer holidays. But I can see you down there quite soon.
I hurt my ankle the first time I went skating, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
What is the best thing about Wakefield? I don't want to say the people, because they're not.
The people are really nice. You'll see in this video, I was doing the sculpture tour, and I met a lady just out here, and I said to her, it's like an Inca god or something, and I said, if you rub his thumb, you will bring you good luck. she did so in a very provocative manner. That's all, I'll leave it there.
You have to pixelate it on the...
that's a good idea.
It'll look even better than one.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
Wakey Wines, obviously that's important.
Wakey Wines?
Have you not seen Wolfie came here earlier this year? It's
an
wine
shop.
It's the off-licence that went viral from and sells prime expensively, but I'm old, so I don't know any about that. What the best thing? Great transport links. I feel like I should be on the council with answers like this.
Do you want a job on Tacklebags next year?
There's train stations, we've got buses, used to have a market, a rugby club, used to have a rugby union team, but that was closed down thanks to the Bradford Bulls.
Yeah.
J. McDonald. The theatre's good.
Oh yeah, I did see that. That looks nice, yeah.
That was rescued by Sir Rodney Walker, of all people.
Yeah, Rodney Walker.
Yeah. He used to be the chairman of Wakefield. And
you mentioned him, right.
And he was the head of the RFL at one point, and World Snooker, and not many people have good words for him, but he rescued the theatre.
Oh, well, you've got to have good words for that.
Yeah. What else do we have in Wakefield? Nice cafe.
I've told you about the Mental Health Museum.
Mental Health Museum, which has
got a padded cell. If you want to go and take yourself down there and throw yourself about.
Lots of good charity shops.
All right, so you've run out now, haven't you? I think your time's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the Riding Centre, that was like the European Mall of the Year in 1983. You can tell I spent a lot of time doing research for local radio on these facts.
Yes.
So looking through the old copies of the Wakefield Express on the microfiche to find out exciting things. Rick Tinsdale's from down the road. There you go.
All right. So what about Wakefield's rugby today? I mean, I've seen there's been a lot of turmoil. We've just talked about the stand as well. If Wakefield are going to get relegated, I mean, are they going to be able to dig themselves out of it this year like they have done for quite a lot of the years?
Well, we've never been in quite as dire a position as we've been. But it helps that Castleford lost it earlier this week, doesn't it? And that game in a couple of weeks is going to be massive. I've worked out in the last few years, whatever I think or whatever I do has no bearing on what the players do on the pitch. So there's no point in me getting upset if they get relegated, because I can't affect it. It doesn't look good, does it? If you were a betting person, you'd have Wakefield to go down. If we did go down, who knows what's going to happen next year in terms of getting promoted? Because no one knows what's going to happen. So,
and it's a dangerous year to go down because they haven't sorted out that yet. I mean,
the stand's obviously a positive.
Yeah.
If there is an investor coming in, that's good. Obviously, if you're in the Championship, you can run on a much smaller budget. Well, you have to because you get less money, and you're not going to be on the telly. But there's going to be a core of 2,000 people who are going to turn up anyway.
Yeah. Can
you rebuild from there? But the thing is, as well, we've been in the Super League since 1999. We're the only club who hasn't been to a final in either the Challenge Cup or the Grand Final. So you could easily argue, well, we've not really done anything in that time either. Playoff 3 times, whatever.
So
I'm very negative, aren't I?
Well, yeah, you are a bit, because maybe there's an astute businessman out there who realises what you just said, and actually building this stadium as they are doing with the stand is actually saying, well, if we go to a franchise system or whatever, maybe an increase in clubs in that system, that they would be there or thereabouts for that.
Well, they've got the football club have moved in, but they're playing like the Dog and Duck League, so it's not as if they're going to be bringing in millions of pounds, but at least it gets the pitch used another 20 odd times a year, so it'll bring some money in. The fact that stand is going up, and the fact the original plans, this goes back to Rodney Walker, were for the club to move to Newmarket, which is just off the M62. Right. Not Newmarket where the race goes, not that one. Just off the M62 where there used to be a pit. But it is literally in the middle of nowhere. Yes, the M62 is next to it. They built a big fridge next to it, which is good, because that was supposed to trigger the building of the stadium, but that didn't happen because politics and stuff. But it would have been a bit like Salford, where their ground is miles from anywhere. The nearest pub closed down a few years ago to where the ground would have been. There's a corner shop and an Indian restaurant an Indian takeaway nearby. But that would have been worse than what we've done now, which is build up this new stand thanks to the money coming in. and do it piecemeal. Yeah, the rest of the North Stand's got some new terracing on, that looks a lot better.
Yeah.
So it's only really the west side of the ground that looks rubbish with the porta cabins and the battered old terracing, but there's not much you can do about that, because it's a bit like at Leeds, where the sound is behind it, so you can't really do much with it. Flatten it. But at least if they put the cameras on that side, it'll look good when they look towards that stand, which should be filled, as opposed to when they put the cameras at Salford, there's no one in there on the stand.
No, that's true. And Huddersfield much the same as well. So, going to the match today, who do I need to look out for from a Wakefield perspective? Who's the player that's going to create the most problems for Warrington?
Oh, it's David Feet, which is a shock, because he's 34, he's not quite, but the fans love him. Yeah. They just, every time he comes on the pitch and does anything, the fans react. Other than him, Will Dagger looked good the other week, as I mentioned, in partnership with Luke Gale. He's finding his feet. I mean, the best homegrown player away from at the minute would be Max Jowett, who hasn't had his chances over the years under successive coaching and should have done at full-back. So he probably could have been better than he is now. He's the one player where, if we were relegated and another Super League club came in and signed, you think, good on you. A bit like when Tom Johnson's gone to Catalan. Fair enough, you've done your time here. Go on and play for England and stuff, because they're not going to pick you here. So. Max Jowett. Okay. Max Jowett, not David Freeman. Max Jowett, he's local. Okay, Max Jowett. Local players for local teams.
Indeed. I've got one more question from my side, which is, I lost half a stone this week in preparation for eating in Wakefield. I've already been treated to a steak, chips, onion rings, and a fried breakfast at the National Coal Mining Museum. What can I expect from Wakefield?
There's some pies in the coach house, whatever it's called these days. I think it's the rolling shack it's called. You've got the usual. There's a tea bar. I think that's in the away stand, so that's where you might have to go. We don't like the riff-raff into the other bits of the ground.
All right.
And there's also some catering vans with the kind of stuff you get at Leeds. It's the same company, so chicken and chips, that kind of thing. It's. I don't think we're going to score massively high on creativity, but the food's perfectly adequate. Okay.
Is there a special food of Wakefield?
It's got props. Rhubarb.
I've got rhubarb. I've brought Mrs. Waywell a rhubarb tea towel because she wasn't here. But I did read there was some some kind of Yorkshire parking. What's that?
Parking. It's like a gingerbread cakey thing. It's usually around bonfire night.
Correct. Yorkshire pudding. Self-explanatory. Yorkshire tea cake.
Oh, is that? Well, is this like the whole what we call bread thing? Because I would call a bread bun or a cob or a barm.
Correct. Yorkshire relish.
Is that the Henderson's thing? Yeah.
Correct.
It's good Henderson's. Yeah. Best thing from Sheffield.
That was funny. It was all on one page, that food-related thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Did you get that from the Mining Museum? Or was that,
well, actually, you'd think I get that from the Mining Museum. I got it from that.
What's the future of Tacklebags and the podcast and everything? The podcast, what would Brian Bevan say?
Whatever. We'll come on to that. Yeah. As far as this Tacklebags goes, it's this season only, unless I come up with something more innovative next year.
What about Old Trafford? Would there be a special? Have you broken your camera down?
Yeah, it's overheated.
Oh no,
that's all right.
Yeah, would you do a special then? How do they overheat?
No, these cameras are shit. Unable to record. That's all right. I'll answer yours for yours anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if there's not going to be Tacklebags next year, what if Old Trafford or Wembley or wherever?
I could do a one-off Tacklebags to maybe Old Trafford or Wembley. However, I could have retired by that time. So, maybe not. Tacklebags I think is a one-off thing, unless I think of something that's quite creative or innovative and doing something different again. Because once you've been to all the towns and rugby, it's hard to sort of, do it again. I mean, there might be variations. It might be that I could do it with different people or something like that.
If there was a Challenge Cup tie at Batley or something, somewhere different.
Yeah, definitely. I think I consider doing that. the podcast is quite interesting because we all hate it now, and we get.
You're at that stage of the podcast where you think we're just going to do it because we've been doing it for long enough.
The thing is, what's really annoying is that we were probably the only ones to do it on a weekly stage through lockdown, which was absolutely mind blowing how we managed to do that. And now 5 years in, it feels like, you know, we're not making any progress. We're not like a competitive club and we're going through the same old stuff. It's hard to think of like something new. We will carry on. I would like to probably change it round and make it a parody podcast, especially if we go to tackling between the 2 inches there, because you know you can't do the legs now and you can't do anything above the shoulder. So if we do that, then obviously I think Rugby League could become a real good parody podcast for anybody.
As I've got even smaller in the women's game, because I've nowhere to take.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's slightly concerning. You've got the women's team now. You've got a wheelchair team. I mean, they lost to...
What, a Tacklebags one? Or you mean Warrington?
Warrington.
Yeah.
Warrington's wheelchair team did lose 130-odd 2 today to Wigan.
Oh, did they?
They're quite good, Wigan. So.
Ah, right. Well, it's because they used to throw in other things around, aren't they? Do you want to name that other thing? Oh, dear.
Should we go?
I just wanted you to sign that off.
Oh, yeah. Should we go to Bellevue?
Yes, let's go there.
I mean, I'm going to have to edit this now. I don't usually edit videos. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just lazy. So.
Well, you'll have to spend about 3 weeks, like I do, editing the thing. Come on.